Hey guys, so today I'm filming a throwback Thursday of my yearly favorites of 2013. If you've never seen my throwback Thursday videos before, I have my playlist linked down below, and basically I'll be reviewing all the products that I mentioned in a favorites video 2 years back, letting you know my current thoughts on them. My inspiration for this series is Kristen Game. I will have her channel and her playlist linked down below. I will also link down below the original favorites video, and I will list all the items I'm going to be talking about. So guys, this is not going up on a Thursday, unfortunately. I just have a lot of videos that I'm behind on that I really want to get up for you guys, so I hope you guys don't mind that. I have so many products to be talking about in this video today, so I am basically going to quickly sum up my thoughts and let you know whether they are still a favorite or not. My favorite foundation of the year was the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation. I have the second lightest shade in Porcelain. This is a great foundation. This is medium buildable to full coverage. The shade was a little too deep for me, but when I mixed it with my Hard Candy Glamoflague, I was able to lighten it and get the right shade for me. This is one of the best drugstore foundations I've ever tried. I love the opacity. It does wear pretty well on my oily skin, but I do have to set it with powder. I do have to touch up throughout the day, like I have to with every single foundation. So I would definitely consider this still a favorite. I have used it up, and I want to try out some other foundations, but I definitely think I would repurchase this one. Then I have a couple concealers. The first one is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Fair, and that concealer does have really nice light medium opacity. It is great to conceal under the eyes, to highlight the face, and it's also fantastic as a blemish concealer for anyone with dry skin because it is not going to cling to dry patches. I haven't used that concealer in a long time, but it is one that I always recommend. I think it is a really nice formula, and that color did work well for me. My next concealer was the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in the Brightener shade. I have gone through several of these. I love this formula and I love this applicator. It does an amazing job of highlighting the center of my face. I love this so much. The formula is really easy to blend out. It does also have light medium opacity to it, and the Brightener shade is a bit too pink for me. The neutralizer is too deep. Fair matches my skin tone perfectly. So there isn't one shade that works amazingly for me as a highlight. So I'm not going to be repurchasing this right now, but I probably will go back to it because I love the formula and the applicator so much. I think that this is an amazing concealer for highlighting. Totally recommend it. And my last concealer was the Hard Candy Glamoflague in the shade Light. That gives incredible full coverage. It is a great blemish concealer for anyone with normal or oily skin. I wouldn't recommend it for the under eyes. It is probably going to look dry and cakey. You definitely can try it under there, but I recommend it for blemishes. I've been using the MAC Pro Longwear for the past couple years, and I really love that one, but my favorite drugstore concealer for blemishes would hands down be the Hard Candy Glamoflague. So then moving on to powder, my favorite under eye setting powder of the year was the Nye Cameo. I haven't used this in a long time, but I have pulled it out and I've been using it the past couple weeks, and I've really fallen in love with it again. I'm using it under my eyes today. This is a great setting powder. I think it does have a nice satin finish, and it does have some nice opacity, and it sets the skin so well. So this is definitely a rediscovered favorite of mine. My next favorite powder was the e.l.f. HD powder in the shade Corrective Yellow, which did do a really nice job of helping correct the redness on my cheeks. And I have been using this powder on my cheeks because it helped set the area without making it look too dry, because I am oily all over except for my cheeks. So I definitely do not still consider this a favorite. I don't think that the formula is as finely milled as I would like. My favorite loose powder is the NYX Set It Don't Fret It. So I would not repurchase this, and I would not consider it a favorite any longer. And my last powder was the Milani MultiTasker in the shade Light Medium. That was a great fair powder with a yellow undertone. It did give a nice coverage, and I really did enjoy it. My favorite face powders would be the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat and the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, but in third place I would probably rate the Milani MultiTasker, but it isn't a powder that I'm able to find in store in my shade. I have to get it on their website, so that is a bit of a bummer, but I really do enjoy the formula of that powder. My bronzer favorite of 2013 is Benefit's Hoola. I have used up my first one and I am on to my second one, which is pretty impressive. This is a great neutral tone bronzer for fair skin. If you do have a medium skin tone, it's going to show up a bit more cool on you. This is a great matte bronzer. It's a wonderful formula, very pigmented, but it blends out nicely. It isn't too powdery or too chalky. This is definitely my go-to bronzer. I have a couple others in my collection, but if I can only have one, I would choose Benefit Hoola. And then there were 3 contour powders that I had fallen in love with in 2013. And the first one is the Sleek Contour Kit in the shade Light. This is a great warm tone bronzer for me to contour with, but it doesn't look too orange. This is a nice deep shade, but it isn't too dark for my skin tone. It is really pigmented, but it's very blendable. Again, this is not super powdery or super chalky. This is an amazing formula bronzer. I absolutely love this one. It is my current go-to for the summertime. My next contour powder is theBalm's Bahama Mama, which is more of a cool tone contour, but it is a deeper shade. This one works for a wide variety of skin tones. So this is definitely still a favorite of mine. I tend to reach for this one in the fall, and this does blend nicely if you have powdered your skin first. I think that this is incredible. Love the color, the pigmentation, the blendability. Definitely still a favorite. And my last contour favorite was the NYX Blush in Taupe, which is a gray purpley taupe brown, which does a great job of contouring fair skin. This is my go-to contour powder for the winter time. I'm using it today. If you have fair skin, you absolutely must have this in your life. It is amazing. So then moving on to blushes, the first one I have is the Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush in Candy Coral. As you can see, I have hit pan on this, and I would not consider this a favorite anymore. I used to wear this every single day in the summer when I worked as a babysitter because I wanted a nice light amount of blush on my cheeks, and I worked outside a lot, so I didn't want really like heavy duty, intense, obnoxious makeup. So I really did enjoy using this back in the day, but it is not my favorite anymore. I do really like the formula. It works well with my oily skin for a cream blush, but I don't think this is a favorite. Next blush favorite was Sonia Kashuk Melon. This is a beautiful pink coral. I love Sonia Kashuk blushes. I think that the formula is really impressive. I just wish they had more shades. This is a matte blush, very pigmented, smooth, blendable, incredible, a holy grail of mine, and I would recommend this to everyone. My next blush is e.l.f. Berry Mary. This is definitely still a favorite. It is my holy grail must-have winter blush. This is a great drugstore alternative to NARS Sin. Very pigmented, smooth, and blendable, like I've been saying about all of my favorites. So you guys definitely need this in your life if you don't have it already. My next favorite blushes were my blushes from theBalm. You guys know how much I love these. And the first one is Hot Mama, which is very similar to NARS Orgasm. It is that peachy pink with a ton of gold sheen to it. theBalm blushes are intensely pigmented, which is why I love them. The next shade is Down Boy, which is a matte neutral pink. When you pair it with something warm, it looks cool, and when you pair it with something cool, it looks warm. And lastly, we have Frat Boy, which is my favorite of the 3. This is a matte pinky peach shade. I am obsessed with this one, so theBalm blushes are definitely still a favorite of mine. And then I had some MAC blush favorites. The first one is MAC Warm Soul, which is a mineralized blush. This is a really great neutral everyday blush for someone with fair or light skin. I think that this is so beautiful. I have always pictured this as a great bridal blush to give you that nice peachy glow on your cheeks without being too intense. I definitely love that blush. Then I had 2 more MAC blushes. I had Melba, which is a matte peach, and then I have Fleur Power, which is technically a satin finish, but it goes on the cheeks like a matte, and it is a pink coral. These 2 are absolutely holy grail blushes of mine. I would never want to be without them in my collection. They are very pigmented, smooth, and blendable. MAC blushes and theBalm blushes are my absolute favorites in my collection. I love the formula. I find it very consistent between the shades in those matte and satin finishes. Absolutely still a favorite. And then my highlighter favorite was theBalm Mary Loumanizer, which is a great golden tone, light, champagne-y highlight for fair skin. If you are fair skin like me, you know how hard it is for highlights to show up on your skin. This one is perfect. It's a great shade, and because it's so metallic, it does really show up on my skin. It's a very buttery formula. Definitely still a favorite. I tend to reach for this most in the fall. So then moving on to brow products, I had a routine using two different pencils. The first was the Essence Eyebrow Designer Pencil in the shade Blonde, which is a wooden pencil that you have to sharpen. I no longer have that one. I remember really enjoying it, but I probably wouldn't repurchase it because I prefer a automatic mechanical pencil for my brows. Then I do a pencil that I have to sharpen, but I remember the color being really great for my blonde brows, and it did draw onto skin and onto brow hair really well, which is very important to me. And then the other brow pencil in that combo was the Maybelline Definer Brow in the shade Dark Blonde. This is a automatic twist up brow pencil. I was using the Essence in the front, and I was using the Maybelline to really help carve out my brows and fill in the arch in the tail. I absolutely love this. This is definitely a holy grail brow pencil of mine. I'm always trying new brow products, but this is one that I do always go back to. I love the formula and the color. And then I had a second brow routine. My first step was the NYX Eyebrow Shaper Wax Pencil. I have finished one up. This is my second one, which is almost done. This is a great wax pencil I use as a first step to really help keep my brow hairs laid down in place, and it helps my brow powder actually stick to my brows, so this is an essential for me. And then I was filling in my brows with the MAC eyeshadow in Omega, which is a great light cool tone color for blonde eyebrows. Definitely recommend this. It is very pigmented as well. And I was highlighting my brows with my NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, which is what I'm using currently. This does do a nice job. I would only recommend this as a brow highlight for someone that is very fair, but I'm not going to be repurchasing this. I would not consider a favorite anymore. I'm going to be going back to my Milani Brow and Eye highlight. I definitely love that formula and that color a lot better. And then I was setting my brows in place with the Sonia Kashuk Tinted Brow Gel, which was the very first tinted brow gel I ever tried. And it had a really weird smell to it, and I would not consider a favorite. I much prefer the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara. This does a great job giving a tint to my brows and making them look more natural. Definitely love this. Would not recommend or repurchase a Sonia Kashuk. So then moving on to the eye products, my first favorite was the e.l.f. Eyelid Primer, which I no longer use. I actually use the Milani eyeshadow primer instead. I find that this one works a little bit better than the e.l.f. It really helps keep my eyeshadows from creasing. I think that the e.l.f. Eyelid Primer works really well, but if you have really oily eyelids, the Milani works better. So the e.l.f. is nice, but I'm not going to be repurchasing it because I prefer the Milani formula. My next favorite is one of my go-to holy grail single shadows. This is Wet n Wild Brulee, which is a matte cream. This is my favorite brow bone highlight shade. The formula of this matte shadow is amazing. It is so incredibly pigmented and smooth. It is not a chalky matte. I really wish Wet n Wild had more formulas like this one, but this is my go-to brow bone highlight. Then there were a couple looks that I had been loving in the year of 2013. The first one had some bases. I was really into eyeshadow bases in 2013. I've kind of fallen out of love with them. So the bases for my first look would be the Maybelline Color Tattoo in the shade Bad to the Bronze. That's all I have right there. This is definitely still a favorite. I love the Maybelline Color Tattoo formula, and that shade is amazing. It is more of a cool tone bronze, which I really love. And then in my crease, I was using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in the shade Tough as Taupe, which is a gray concrete color. And you can see I've used a ton of this one, but this is not a favorite of mine anymore. This used to be my go-to base for my crease, but I don't really tend to use a base in my crease anymore because I feel like it makes the look come out way too harsh. So the Toughest Taupe is definitely not a favorite of mine anymore. So then for the eyeshadows that I was applying on top, this is actually the look I'm wearing on my eyes today. So on my lid, I applied Urban Decay's eyeshadow in YDK, which is a beautiful taupey color that does have a little bit of bronze in it as well, which is why it pairs really nicely over Maybelline Bad to the Bronze. This is a super metallic finish, and the shade that is in my crease is the Urban Decay eyeshadow in Tease, which is an amazing matte. It is pigmented without being chalky. Both of these eyeshadows are in the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette, which I now own, but I had purchased these singles before the palette, And I think that the formula is actually better in the singles than it is in the palette, but regardless, definitely still a favorite look of mine. And then for my second look, I had some eyeshadow bases as well. These are the Milani Shadow Eyes pencils, which are currently in the CVS beauty clearance. I think that Milani is getting rid of all of these shades from CVS, so you guys need to go purchase these because these are holy grail to me. I think they are 50% off. So the base I was using on my lid is Almond Cream, which is a matte cream shade. It applies really nicely. You do have to work with it quickly to blend it out. And then in my crease, I was using the shade Cafe au Lait, which is a great mid-tone, warm, neutral brown, which really worked really nicely in the crease. But like I said, you do need to blend these out quickly because they set very fast. So the shadows I was using on top came from the Balm Meet Matte Nude palette, which is my holy grail favorite pre-made palette. So I was using Matte Malloy on my lid, Matte Sing as a transition, and Matte Rosen as a crease color. This is definitely still a favorite look of mine. It is my go-to warm tone neutral eye. Holy grail, holy grail, holy grail products, must have eye look for me. My next eye look was using some MAC eyeshadows. I was using MAC Coppering on the lid and MAC Soft Brown as a transition shade. And then in the crease, I was using my CQ single in the shade Bark. And this is definitely still a favorite look of mine. It is a bit neglected, but I love the formula of all those shadows and the colors. I feel like Coppering works really, really well with my eye color, and I think it would really complement my hair now as well. So definitely recommend all of those shadows. It's definitely still a favorite. CQ shadows I don't think are available anymore, so you don't need this one. My last favorite eye look was using an Inglot and Urban Decay shadow. So the shade I was using on my lid is Urban Decay Toasted from the original Naked palette. And then the color that I was using in my crease is Inglot Pearl 423. Both of those shades are beautiful. They pair nicely together, and I love the formula of Inglot and Urban Decay shadows, but it's definitely not a favorite look of mine anymore. I probably haven't worn that look since 2013, so definitely not a favorite of mine anymore. I've just fallen out of love with the look, but I do still really enjoy the formula of those products. My favorite eyeliner of the year was the Maybelline Line Stiletto Liquid Liner. You guys know that I love this, but within the last year, the formula has changed, so this is definitely not a favorite of mine anymore, but it used to be absolutely perfect. The applicator and the formula was incredible, but no longer. And then I also was loving the Rimmel Scandal Eyes in the shade Nude, which is a pencil that you do have to sharpen, but it was a really nice creamy formula, and I did love putting that in my waterline. I have not repurchased it, but I definitely think that I would. And then I had two mascara favorites of the year. The first one is the CoverGirl Clump Crusher Mascara. That does an amazing job of combing out your lashes. I think that is a great final step with any other mascara that gets a little too clumpy. I don't love it on its own. I find that it's too natural for me. And my other mascara favorite was the Maybelline Rocket Mascara, which does give really nice volume. I did enjoy that mascara. I probably wouldn't consider it holy grail, but I think that I would repurchase that one. So then moving on to lip product favorites. The first one was the EOS Lip Balm in Sweet Mint. You guys know how many of these that I've been through. This is my favorite lip balm formula. I find that it's not too thick, not too thin, and I really also enjoy the Sweet Mint scent. My next lip product favorites were my Revlon lip butters in these three shades, which I will show you really quickly. The first one is Strawberry Shortcake, a really great, beautiful, neutral pink, and this is one that I have used up. My other favorite was Peach Parfait, which was a beautiful golden peach with some shimmer, which I've also used up. And the last shade is Berry Smoothie, which is a really wearable shade that I'm currently trying to use up. So I really love the Revlon lip butter formula. They are really, really smooth and they feel very comfortable on the lips. They're very, very easy to apply and reapply throughout the day. The reason that I was trying to use all of these up is because they are some of the oldest lip products in my collection. I am obsessed with these though. I think they're a great formula. Because I've tried so many other lip products, I want to move these out of my collection and I probably won't repurchase them. but I do enjoy the formula. So for anyone that doesn't really like traditional lipstick, I would recommend the Revlon Lip Butters. My next lipstick favorite was the Revlon Super Lustrous lipstick in the shade Primrose, which is a dupe for MAC Snob. This is an amazing cream formula. I love the formula of this lipstick. It is amazing. I love this shade. The pigmentation is incredible. This is definitely still a favorite of mine, and this is a product that I'm going to try to use up next year because this is another one of the oldest lip products in my collection, but I will repurchase this. This is amazing. Definitely consider this shade and this formula a favorite. Then I had two lip glosses that I had fallen in love with in 2013, and these are the NYX Butter Glosses. I now have several more shades because I fell in love with these, and the two shades I have would be Maple Blondie, which is a pinky peach, and Meringue, which is a really bright blue tone pink. I really love pairing this one on top of Primrose for a really intense blue tone pink lip look. These do have about medium opacity on me. It depends on the shade that you have and the natural pigmentation of your lips. These are nice to wear on their own or as a lipstick topper. This is my favorite lip gloss formula. Absolutely love these. They're definitely still a favorite. Lastly, for lips, I had a combo that I had fallen in love with, and you guys have probably seen this combo a lot in my recent videos. And the first part of the combo would be the Tarte Matte Lip Surgeons in the shade Exposed, which I have recently just finished up. The Tarte Matte Lip Surgeons formula is incredible. I wish they had more shades. It feels very comfortable on my lips. It lasts really well, and this is an amazing nude. I absolutely love this peach nude. I think that these are totally worth the money. Definitely still a favorite of mine. And then the lip gloss was the Buxom Lip Gloss in the shade Sandy, which is also a peachy nude. I have used up so much of this gloss. I have used these products on their own, and I don't love them as much as when I wear them together. I love both of the formulas individually, but these specific shades I like to wear together. The Buxom lip glosses are my favorite high-end gloss. They are a little bit sticky, but I feel like it just makes my lip color last longer. These have very light opacity. Again, depends on the shade, so I prefer to wear these as a lipstick topper. Definitely still a favorite of mine, and once I finish this up, I probably will repurchase this. And lastly, I had two favorite polish combos. The first combo was using OPI You Are Such a Budapest, which is a beautiful periwinkle purple. This does take 3 coats to be opaque, but they are 3 easy, even coats. And then I was using Hard Candy Black Tie Optional on top, which is an amazing glitter topper that has some black and white glitter pieces in it of different shapes and sizes that really created a fun effect. That one has dried up and I haven't repurchased it, but I definitely think that I would because it gave an awesome effect, and this color is definitely Holy Grail must-have of mine. The other combo was my favorite for fall. These are some great dusty muted shades. The first shade I have is Zoya's Bevan, which is a dusty grayed out sage green, which is stunning opaque in 1 to 2 coats, and the other shade was the CoverGirl Outlast in the shade Always Naked, which is a dupe for Essie Saint Tropez. This is opaque in 2 coats, which is very impressive for a nude polish. This polish combo is definitely still a favorite of mine. I wore it this year and fell in love with it all over again. So guys, that was my Throwback Thursday of my 2013 yearly favorites. I hope you all enjoy this. Please let me know your thoughts if you tried out any of these products in a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.